In the room on the right, I would like to create a living room wall. For this, I can use the reference point again to establish a reference point for it. Set it at a y distance of, for example, plus 1500. Now I can either cut this reference point and paste it into another layer or directly set the association to, for example, M1:20. So now, on the M1:20 layer, I have this position with the reference point. Now I select the cabinet tool and I can already insert the cabinet at the reference point and rotate it 90 degrees at the same time. Now I can view the object in the top view or switch to the right side view. Now I enter the correct measurements. We have a width of 1250 millimeters and a segment height of 400 millimeters. Also, a cabinet depth of 550 millimeters. For the front design, we select drawers. Furthermore, in the base area, we have a height of 40 millimeters. I choose the mitered front and square back type for the base. Here, we can see the top edge of the floor at 0 millimeters. This is because we have a Z value of 0, and there is a 40 millimeters reveal height. Lastly, we create a top with a thickness of 40 millimeters. Finally, I delete the segment so that I have the result here. In the next step, I select Edit/Duplicate and Arrange from the menu to make 2 copies. In this case, I use 1250 in the y-axis because we rotated the whole thing by 90 degrees. Now, as an intermediate result, we have these cabinets, which we can now view from the front right top. We have an error here, and that is, of course, the X value is 0 in the duplicate mask. And now we see the result in front right top in the volume model. Here we select Draw Edges again in the settings so that we can see the edges as well. Now the question arises as to how the construction looks in detail, for example, the base and top. Here we have the option to simply eliminate the top, also reset the base, and extend the projection of the first cabinet to the desired height. In this case, the top projection on the right would be 2500, and the same goes for the base. However, since there is a setback here, we add a minus sign, and thus generate the projections accordingly. I'll show an alternative approach here. To do this, I duplicate the existing layer, click on Duplicate, and rename it to 1/20th alternative. The alternative in this case would be to draw the whole thing with just one cabinet. So I go back to the 2D plan top view, insert the cabinet, rotate the cabinet, and make it 1250 by 3 in width. Then I enter the inputs again by setting the segment to 0. Setting the drawers to 30 mm. And setting the height to 400. The base and top in this case are without projections. Therefore, we have a normal variant with 40 mm for the base and a top variant with 0 mm projection. In the front view, we can see the setback of the base. It's 30 mm in this case. The front overhang of the top is 19 mm, and the decision whether to create a drawing with one or multiple cabinets depends largely on the likelihood of changes, because the advantage here is that changes can be made very quickly. If I have 4 parts here, it's just one click, while the advantage of the original variant is that by having a separate cabinet, changes can be made very quickly here as well. I select the cabinet as an example, then I can easily create a frame door, for example. And I have very flexible options here because it's a separate object.